Hey there YouTubers, welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. If you haven't seen my introductory video, please see below for a link which basically gives you an overview of what this channel is. But in a nutshell, I'll be reviewing real ales. And we might as well just dive in straight away. Today we have Black Sheep Ale. Hopefully you can see that if I bring it in a little bit closer. Black Sheep Ale on bottle. This particular bottle was bought from my local Morrison's and it was part of the 4 ales for £6 offer, which is a fantastic offer. Very good value for money. Black Sheep Ale. Now it says on the bottle that it's an amber ale. And I know I said in my introductory video that I wasn't going to get snobby about it, and I'm trying not to get too snobby about this. Actually it's more about the industry's snobbiness in my opinion. It says an amber ale. So what is an amber ale? Well, an amber ale is basically a bitter. Now for some reason, I don't know why in the industry, but in the last few years, potentially because of modern sensibilities, they've decided that they can't call it a bitter, it has to be an amber ale. Your guess is as good as mine. I have no understanding as to why they would particularly do this. I mean, ultimately, it's a bitter, and in this case, it's a proper Yorkshire bitter. So, you know, for those in the industry, if you're watching this, just tell it like it is and just say what it is. It's a bitter, and it's a absolutely fantastic Yorkshire bitter. At the moment, it's kind of one of my favourites, and I say that I often have rotating favourites. I imagine, like most other people, my tastes do change. But right at this moment, I'm really quite enjoying this ale, and I get it regularly. But you never know, 6 months down the line, it might well drop off my list of favourites. And I won't bother with it for a while, but then I'll come back to it, as I'm sure is the same for a lot of people. But as I say, it's a fantastic bitter, or amber ale, and you'll see again why. You'll see why they call it amber ale in a moment when I do actually get to pour it out. In regards to the actual hops that they've used, they have Progress, Challenger, Goldings and Fuggles. Now again, I'm not an expert on hops. I know enough about them to get me by. Certainly the Goldings and the Fuggles hops are a staple of British pale ales and bitters. They are literally referred to as a classic, and they are actually very nice. And whilst we're also looking at it as well, it is a 4.4% ABV, which is not too strong, but also obviously not too weak as well. In fact, they, or potentially actually myself, would probably class that as session strength. Now for me, session strength is any ale between about 3.5% and 4.5%, although I believe it varies slightly. Some people say up to 5%, some people would maybe say actually it's pretty much square on 4%. Now again, for those who don't know what a session ale means, again there's a lot of interpretations. I used to think that it meant as in obviously an ale of a strength whereby you could actually go out and have a session on it, and I think in modern terms that is indeed the case. But doing a little bit of research, it would appear that there is also a case for referring back to the First World War, when they had limited sessions of drinking in the pubs, obviously because of the munitions factories, etc, etc, and typically there would be a lower strength ale of some sort, probably a mild or a porter, hence why they're called session ales. But basically not too strong, not necessarily too weak either. The kind of ales where you could potentially have 3, 4, maybe even 5 pints without feeling the effects too much, although again it very much varies from person to person. And again, would it be an amber ale or a bitter? Serving temperature, again, one of those things. I imagine that most people would say, those certainly in the know, would say that a bitter like this, or an amber ale, should be served probably at cellar, what we call cellar temperature, which would be about 11 to 14 degrees Celsius. But again, going back to my original introductory video, and not trying to be too snobby about this, ultimately this is all down to personal preference and taste, which is a very subjective thing. This is literally just, you can probably see some of the condensation actually, well, hopefully you can see a little bit of the condensation. This has literally just come out the fridge, so at the moment it's probably getting back up to room temperature, and it's probably sitting about 4 or 5 degrees. I actually quite like drinking it at that temperature. Sometimes if I'm in a different mood, I might have it at the recommended cellar temperature of 11 to 14 degrees, but ultimately, again, I don't want to become too snobby about it. and I don't want to tell you how to drink your ale. Drink it how you see fit, and if you enjoy it cold or cool, great. If you enjoy it at cellar temperature, great. If you enjoy it room temperature, again, it's entirely down to you. So, Black Sheep Brewery as well. A little bit about the brewery. Again, from my research, it's well, it was founded in 1992 by Paul Theakston. Again, I don't know if you know much about the ale industry. Theakstons, you may have heard of, you may have heard of them. They're obviously quite a big brewer here in the UK, and they've been around since I think the early 1800s. I believe Paul Theakston left in 1988, and he decided to set up his own brewery in 1992, and he called it the Black Sheep Brewery. Again, I believe it was his wife who kind of, shall we say, mentioned the name to him, because referencing the black sheep of the family. I don't know much more detail than that, but obviously that's an interesting story. Maybe I'll look into that a bit further, potentially in another video. So, diving in, we might as well crack it open, pour it out, see what it smells like, see what it tastes like. As you can see, hopefully my pour will be decent without too much of a head on it. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Here we go, pop that back there. Cheers! Now this bit of the video might just be me drinking this and just enjoying it. I don't think I'm going to get through it all, but don't mind me whilst I have a bit of a... Yes, it's got that wonderful... wonderful malty, biscuity kind of flavour, and that bitter, well, not too bitter, aftertaste of what a classic bitter, a Yorkshire bitter, should be about. In fact, it's very very nice, especially on a warm day. You're going to enjoy probably quite a few of these if you fancy it. I'm sure my missus would disagree with that, but yeah, absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend it. Get yourself down to your local supermarket and buy probably at least 2 or 3. And I don't usually go in for ratings, but if we're going to talk about ratings, what would I give it out of 10? I would have to say probably an 8 or a 9. Like I said though, maybe I'm a little bit biased because at the moment this is one of my particular favourites, but I think it's fantastic and I think you should try it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And for those who are wondering what you can potentially pair with this food wise, well, it goes great. You're probably wondering why that was there. Strategically placed. No expense spared, by the way. As you can see, it's one of these little tiny blocks of cheddar cheese, but it goes fantastically well with cheddar. In fact, most robust ales, bitters, stouts, porters, the darker ones, go absolutely fantastic with a nice strong cheese. And I would also hazard to guess that it would also go fantastic with darker meat, or probably actually a pie. Maybe a nice meat and potato, maybe a nice steak pie. Again, leave it down to your good judgment, but definitely try it with cheese or pie or something similar. And anyway, I think that's the end of my review. I'm going to carry on drinking this and enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you get some use out of it, and maybe think that I might go down to my local supermarket and get myself some Black Sheep Ale. Obviously, whatever you do, happy drinking, and just remember, please drink responsibly. I'll be reviewing more ales in another video, so I hope to see you again sometime soon.